Hey flag fans, I'm Gray, and welcome back to Flag Facts. Today's show is all about the flag of America's Palmetto State, South Carolina. South Carolina is a state in the southeastern region of the country and is surrounded by North Carolina to the north, the Atlantic Ocean to the east, and Georgia to the west. By size, South Carolina is the 40th largest state, and with a population of around 5.4 million people, it comes in as the 23rd most populated. While South Carolina was one of the 13 original colonies and the 8th state to ratify the U.S. Constitution in 1788, it did not adopt an official state flag until 1861. And here it is, the official state flag of South Carolina. The design simply consists of three elements: an indigo blue field, a centrally located palmetto tree, and a crescent in the upper left-hand corner. Though the flag was officially adopted in 1861, the elements of the design can be traced back to the Revolutionary era. In 1775, Colonel William Moultrie was tasked with designing a flag to represent South Carolina following the capture of Fort Johnson by the South Carolina 2nd Regiment. In his 1802 memoir, Moultrie described the flag saying, "A little time after we were in possession of Fort Johnson, it was thought necessary to have a flag for the purpose of signals, as there was no national or state flag at the time. I was desired by the Council of Safety to have one made, upon which, as the state troops were clothed in blue, and the fort was garrisoned by the 1st and 2nd Regiments, who wore a silver crescent on the front of their caps, I had a large blue flag made with a crescent in the dexter corner, to be in uniform with the troops. This was the first American flag which was displayed in South Carolina." Some accounts and artistic depictions have also shown the flag with the word Liberty, but this edition lacks any substantial evidence and is likely a patriotic embellishment. The Moultrie flag famously flew over Fort Sullivan, now Fort Moultrie, on June 28, 1776, when a small force led by Colonel Moultrie successfully repelled a major British naval attack. During the fight, the pole the flag was on was actually shot down. In the face of heavy fire, Sergeant William Jasper remounted the flag and inspired his fellow servicemen to keep up the fight. In the end, the colonial forces were victorious, and the flag became a lasting symbol of South Carolina. Decades later, when South Carolina seceded from the Union in 1861, lawmakers decided to honor that revolutionary heritage. They adopted an official state flag based on Moultrie's design with one addition: a palmetto tree. Coincidentally, the palmetto was also a nod to the Battle of Sullivan's Island, as the fort itself was constructed using palmetto logs. The logs, unlike other types of wood, proved to be uniquely durable in the face of British cannon fire, absorbing the impacts instead of shattering. The victory at the fort was one of the great morale boosts in the early years of the war, and helped cement the palmetto as a symbol of strength and resilience. While the new design was adopted by the state in 1861, the legislature did not provide any official illustrations or proportions. So, in 1909, state officials set out to standardize the design. That task fell to historian Alexander Sally, and here's what he came up with. This official design stuck around for a while, but when the South Carolina Code of Laws was recodified in 1940, the sections describing the flag were omitted, functionally repealing the official description. As a result, flag manufacturers have been left to create their own interpretations, which has led to quite a lot of variability over the years, particularly with the palmetto. And that brings us to the South Carolina State Flag Study Committee of 2018. Given the many inconsistencies in the color and graphic elements of the design, the state legislature appointed a committee to study the history of the flag and recommend an official description. But before we can get to the committee's recommendation, we have to talk about the crescent. At first glance, the symbol in the corner of the flag seems fairly simple, but it is actually the topic of some debate. What exactly is it, and which way should it face? Let's start with the first question. While we know from Moultrie's memoir that the design was inspired by the caps of South Carolina soldiers, Moultrie did not offer any explanation of the symbol's meaning. Moultrie referred to the symbol as a crescent, which might automatically make you think of a moon, but some have suggested that the symbol was actually derived from a gorget. So, what is a gorget, you ask? Well, the gorget first appeared as a metal collar in medieval Europe that was designed to protect the neck and upper chest. However, by the 1700s, it was no longer used as a functional piece of armor, but instead used symbolically. For example, in this portrait from 1772, George Washington can be seen wearing a gorget which denoted his rank as officer. So, it is entirely feasible that the symbol on the soldiers' caps was derived from that tradition. That said, it is also possible that the symbol did, in fact, represent a moon. The crescent is a symbol that can historically be found across many cultures, and in heraldry, it represents the waxing harvest moon, which expresses the hope of increasing prosperity. Many people at the time would have been familiar with its heraldic meaning and might have seen it as a symbol of good fortune for the American cause. But the truth is, we'll never know for sure. And speaking of things we don't know, that brings us to the symbol's orientation. While the orientation on the original flag is somewhat ambiguous, the design adopted in 1861 clearly shows the crescent facing up. Perhaps as a sort of compromise, the flag from 1910 placed the crescent at a 45-degree angle, which is probably the version most of us recognize today. In 2018, after reviewing the historical records, the State Flag Study Committee recommended that the crescent should continue to face the left side of the flag at a slight angle. Alongside the crescent, the committee also examined the flag's color, which varied widely over the years. They found that the original blue wasn't the dark navy used on modern flags, but a rich indigo, matching the uniforms of Moultrie soldiers and the state's colonial dye industry. With the crescent and the color settled, we can now turn our attention to the palmetto. For the palmetto, the committee looked to the artwork of Ellen Hayward Jervey, an artist who provided sketches to Alexander Sally as he designed the standard set in 1910. After some discussion, the committee settled on this sketch from Jervey's collection to replicate on the flag. In 2020, with all three elements accounted for, the committee released this design, which they believed to be the most historically accurate version of the flag. But the reaction from the public was less than enthusiastic. Many felt the palmetto on the new design looked too thin and sickly, and took to social media to mock the proposal. In response, the committee then offered 2 additional designs with more robust palmetto trees. However, the legislative momentum to standardize the design seems to have stalled in the wake of the initial public backlash. So, for now, the design of the South Carolina state flag remains solely based on tradition. And there you go. That's everything you need to know about the state flag of South Carolina. So what'd you think? Is it a good design? Are you Team Moon or Team Gorget? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe for more flag-related content just like this. If you're in the market for a South Carolina flag or any other flag, head on over to FlagandBanner.com for all your flag flying needs. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time on Flag Facts.